When it comes to Filecoin's utility token called FIL, there is 3 hypothetical price scenarios that I'm currently thinking about, even though nothing I say is financial advice. And this isn't an event where maybe, let's say, there is even a full-on type of altcoin season during this cycle. However, again, nothing I say is financial advice, and also on top of that, all these calculations are based off of the current circulating supply of FIL, which again is Filecoin's utility token. However, the first idea I want to explore is maybe the idea of $25. Now that's around an 11.5x from here. Market cap at that point would be around 17 billion. And again, this is considering current circulating supply. However, when I take a look at this, why wouldn't this necessarily surprise me? Because I like the fundamentals of Filecoin, and let me explain why I think that way. When it comes to Filecoin, it is, I would say, arguably heavily focused on decentralizing data storage. Now, why do I think this is a pretty cool thing? It's because if I take a look at the data storage market, according to Fortune Business Insights, it is expected to reach nearly $800 billion by 2030. So I find that very impressive. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, but this, specific sector isn't that popular. I'm totally aware of that, but really, when I take a look at it even deeper, there's really not that many competitors, I think, that are that popular within this space. And this is something that I like, by the way, because if, let's say, this sector became popular, there really isn't like that many popular projects, so this is what I like about it. I don't think Filecoin is really under too much competition within the sector that it's in. Let me explain why. Yeah, sure, Filecoin is there, right? I mean, we're talking about it right now, but there's, of course, something like Jasmy, there's storage, but then it's spelled like StorJ, like STORJ, but then a lot of people call it storage. But besides that point, there's something called Arweave, and also there's something called Filecoin. And if we think about that, that is just like arguably 4 other than Filecoin that are pretty popular. I don't think that's that many. I mean, if I take a look at other sectors out there, like for instance, blockchain gaming or like, NFTs, or, again, just some other sectors out there that I see, there's like 20 or 30 very popular competitors. But in this one, there doesn't seem to be that many. So this is what I like about Filecoin. And even though I don't think we've really seen like a fully type of moment, I should say, or an event where there is like this attention for projects that are focused on data storage, even despite that, Filecoin's, again, utility token called FIL market cap is currently around 1.5 billion, which I find kind of impressive, again, especially when I consider the market that it's focused on. The market that it's focused on isn't necessarily that popular, right? So I do like that, and I think Filecoin actually is the most popular project within the sector that it's in. I mean, sure, Jasmy is like, the number 2, but then this one is pretty popular too, and I think, again, it is actually the most popular within its sector. However, sometimes people like to say, okay, but who cares about that? Well, I like it because, yeah, sure, there's other sectors that I do focus on, but I feel like this one is pretty unique, it's pretty interesting, and I like Filecoin's presence within, again, the specific niche that it is focused on. So maybe let's say FIL at the idea of $25, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if it ever even were to happen during a fully fledged type of altcoin season. Now maybe the second idea I want to explore is $28, nearly a 13x from here, and market cap at that point would be around 19 billion. Now the way I view it is this: if, something like Shiba Inu reached around $40 billion in market cap back in 2021, I don't think this is something that would necessarily surprise me. But again, this is just my thought process, and again, that was years ago. However, even besides that, the third and final hypothetical price scenario that I do have on my mind that I want to explore is maybe the idea of $30, which is nearly a 14x from here, and the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, it'd be around 20 billion. Now, I have to take a look at the factors right now, like for instance, the Ethereum ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, and also on top of that, how supposedly there's over 600 million crypto owners, which is supposedly more than ever before in history. When I take a look at stuff like that, I'm just more excited right now, actually, when compared to back in 2021, even though I don't think I've seen a fully fledged type of hypothetical altcoin season currently during this cycle, like what we once saw maybe back in 2021. But even still, despite that, if there was one during this cycle, just because of the factors currently, if it looked better than back then, it wouldn't surprise me. But it is an only time will tell type of scenario for me. I will not be able to know the exact moment in time. All I can do is just dollar cost average hold, and I just wait, and literally that's it. I'm not telling you to do anything, by the way, but I'm just preparing for a moment in time as opposed to trying to find the perfect moment, because I don't think I will find the perfect moment. So I am just, again, staying patient and holding, because whether or not the altcoin season, if it ever even wants to begin, like maybe next month, who knows, or even it waits until like March of 2026, whenever that timeline is, it's beyond my control. So I'm just gonna stay patient, hold, and I just wait. That's it. I am not only just holding FIL, by the way, but then at the same time, it is something that I do wanna believe in because I like the fundamentals of Filecoin. However, again, this is just my thoughts on the project. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.